I just heard some news. This may be a possibility. Kevin Durant possibly to the Pistons. Now, what the Pistons are trying to do, they are trying to get a legitimate score because they know that Jalen Duran is just a defensive specialist. He is. He's a defensive specialist, and you're not going to get much scoring out of him once the playoffs start. You're not. So when I heard about these talks about Durant possibly being interested, and it is true, he is interested in playing with Cade Cunningham. Now, last season, Cade Cunningham, he was a one-man show in Detroit. So Kevin Durant trade rumors connecting to the former MVP to the Detroit Pistons are heavily swirling. Reports indicate that Durant has an active interest in playing alongside of Pistons superstar Cade Cunningham. Pistons have actively engaged in trade talks with the Houston Rockets to acquire the six-time All-Star, but a deal has not yet materialized. Now, the status of this is ongoing. They are going to try and do a three-team trade with the Celtics and the Rockets. So that way Durant goes to the Pistons and the Celtics and the Rockets. They get three additional draft picks or future draft picks. The goal was to pair Durant and with Cunningham to vault Pistons into true Eastern Conference contention. Now, see, this goes back to what everybody said that the Pistons surprised everybody last year, and they did. They did. They surprised me last season, and I even said back in I would say February or March that the organization they said that anything past the first round or the second round would be would be surprising. So the organization, they didn't think that the group that the Pistons had this past season would take them very far. Omar from Dryu 02M, how you doing? And when we get to first off, please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the KeyOnMillions.co. The big story of the day is Kevin Durant possibly going to Detroit. Hello, hello, hello. Now, let's get back to trade status and rumors. Now, we all know that Kevin Durant, he has been on the trading block almost every 2 or 3 years. He's never had cohesiveness with any other player. That is why I say when it comes to Kevin Durant, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Steph Curry, I know I got Steph Curry somewhere in here. Somewhere in here. If it wasn't for Steph Curry right here, Durant, he would not have a championship. So, as I go back to the main reason why we are here is because of this right here. But Kevin Durant, he wouldn't have no championship without Steph Curry. But Houston's reluctance on now we go back to Houston's reluctance. The Rockets reportedly do not view Durant as untouchable, but they show no interest in trading both Durant and young center Alfred Sengun in the same deal. Assets required. Houston is believed to be seeking a massive haul for the veteran, which would likely require the Pistons to part ways with key players like Jalen Duran alongside multiple future draft picks. So, this is why I was saying that it is going to come down to a bunch of conditional draft picks for the Detroit Pistons to have this. Now, what would this duo do in the Eastern Conference? Well, I'm already gonna put them up better than the Celtics. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna say this. So I say look at the top teams in the East. Well, projected top teams in the East. So as of right now, New York. I'm gonna say Cleveland, Detroit, Boston, Miami, top five teams. That's what I'm going to say right now. The top five teams are Miami, and then they are, but yeah, the top five teams that I just listed off, that is where the Pistons are at right now. But there are still so much that is going on right now. The Grizzlies, they're trying to do something. Rui Hachimura no longer is going to be on the Lakers, and the summer league is pretty much halfway done, and within another, I would say, month and a half to 2 months, the NBA training camp that will start for the for the coming season. And outside of that, I'm going to get to first off, I am going to get to Jalen Brown. Now, I'm going to say something about Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown is a good player. He is. And I was saying this to some people on X, Ashray Kowski 77478. Hello. And I was saying this about Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown, he is not he is a great player. I mean, he averaged 28 points last season for the Boston Celtics. The season before that, he averaged 28.8 points. So he's very consistent. He's never had any off the field troubles. Now, why do some people make it seem like what he says off the court, why do they make it seem like that he has committed a crime? I mean, you have thousands of players who are outspoken, but why is it so much different when Jalen Brown does it? Now, one thing that I can say about Jalen Brown, and I'm going to, oh, I don't have nothing in here. Oh yeah, I do. One thing I'm going to do is here. Jalen Brown is in his new jersey right there. So basically, Boston. It seems like Boston, they just wanted Jalen Brown gone, but Boston, they are going to regret this trade. They are going to regret this trade. And Jalen Brown, he was never a problem player. He was never. And even in this source that I'm looking at right now, this article, it says somehow this is fitting, confusing into Jalen Brown's Boston Celtics career. One thing that I can say about the Boston Celtics, when we come back, I'm going to bring this to, I'm going to just bring it to 100. Yeah, I'm going to just keep it 100. Let's just go ahead and bring the race factor in there, because we all know that up in Boston, up in Massachusetts, it seems like everything that a person of, I would say, our color, me and Jalen Brown, would say, always wrong. Jalen Brunson is outspoken. He said that he would be coming into the league outspoken. And you are not just going to give him something that's just going to keep him quiet and, let's just say, the end all be all. So Jalen Brunson, he is the type of player that he has the game where he can play, he can be a top dog. And he also has the game where he can play second fiddle. So that's why when he said back in May, after they lost to the team that he's on now, the 76ers, when he said that this was his favorite season, I already knew where that was coming from. Because what he was saying, he had the experience to lead a team lead a team in every statistical category without the quote unquote top player in Jason Tatum being there. Now, before last season started, I thought the Boston Celtics would be in the seventh spot. Credit to me, I came out and said I was wrong back in February. I said I was wrong. Jalen Brunson, him being on the 76ers, the 76ers go from a first round or a second round team to obviously a Eastern Conference championship contender. That's what this guy does when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers and making them into, and not just him, but VJ Edgecombe, you have Tyrese Maxey, and you know you're going to have Embiid for about 40 games of the season, and that's where Jalen Brown comes in at. Those other 20 games that Embiid is going to need to rest up, that's where he comes in and he scores his 29 points per game. So when I go back to Boston, you traded Jalen Brown, and you got in Boston in return, you got Paul George. You went from trading a consistent scorer that had been putting up the same amount of numbers every night, 25 to 30 points, to Paul George, very inconsistent. Some games he can shoot the lights out of the arena, and then other games Paul George can wet the damn bed like it's nobody business. And then there are some times where Paul George, he's missing in action. Now he gonna be missing in action with the Boston Celtics, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm skeptical of even putting the Boston Celtics in the top 5 this coming season. I mean, I have the New York Knicks at 1 because they are the defending champion, and I got the Celtics at 2, but with Philadelphia, what they just did, I'm thinking about the Celtics. They may be 5 or 6. I can't put them above Miami right now because from what I see when it comes to the Boston Celtics, I see Jason Tatum as my legitimate scorer. And if I'm the head coach for any other team, when we play the Boston Celtics, only thing in my mind, I'm thinking about, okay, how do I neutralize Jason Tatum to get these other players to beat me, to get Paul George to beat me consistently, to get Peyton Pritchard to beat me consistently, and all of those bench players, because outside of Jason Tatum, there is nobody on the Celtics that can really like say, oh, we're gonna have a tough time with this guy tonight. Ant-Man edits 14 seconds. Yo, can you hold the camera for Lamar Jackson edit? Yeah, sure. But I ain't got no Lamar Jackson. I ain't got no Lamar Jackson background right now. But thank you, because I am gonna be doing some Lamar Jackson content and some NFL content, because in the next, exactly in another month, preseason gonna happen. So yeah, the Celtics, they were some fools. They are some fools for getting rid of Jalen Brown and Brad Stevens. Your job is on the chopping block now. You can't do that. How you gonna get rid of Jalen Brown for Paul George? Paul George should be out of the damn league. Paul George should be out of the damn league for one moment. And as I see, like right here, I'm telling you all, this is me. This is Keytime Sports saying that if I was the Boston Celtics general manager, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done this at all. I wouldn't have. But like I said, I am a journalist, but I should have some input. Everybody should have some input. Jalen Brunson was a fan, excuse me, not Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brown was a fan favorite for the Boston Celtics. He was a, oh my, Celtics, you gonna drop this year. You really are. Oh, where you think LeBron gonna? I have an idea where he's going to go. My sources have an idea where he is going to go, but as far as where we all think that he should go to Cleveland, but there are 5 teams that are still on his list. And his agent, Rich Paul, said that he is nowhere near close to making a decision at all. He isn't. And on top of that, is Kevin Durant going to stay in Houston? Because I don't think so. I don't think that Kevin Durant is going to stay in Houston. Not by what I saw this morning. I saw this morning. For everybody that's just coming in, I saw this. Kevin Durant may actually be going to Detroit. He may actually be going to Detroit. But that's rumors and speculation right now. But from what I'm seeing right now, I don't see much trade talks happening. And basically the Rockets, they'll have to give up 2 players and 5 additional draft picks in order for this to happen, because in order for this to happen, it has to be a 3-team trade. The Pistons, Rockets, and the Celtics have to be in the trade. I don't know why the Celtics have to be in there, because what they need is they need someone to help Jason Tatum. They do. They need somebody to help Jason Tatum. And right now it's just Jason Tatum, and then there's nobody else in Boston. I'm trying to, when I close my eyes and visualize the Celtics roster this season, I see Jalen Brunson, and then it just seems like there's like so much dark light. So much, because Paul George, I'm like, Paul George, really? I'm like, no, no, no. But the Celtics, they messed up. They did. And as far as the Lakers concerned, I don't know. When it comes to the Lakers, I just don't know. Now with LeBron, he has so many teams that are still at the top of his list. As you all can see, it's only 6 more teams that are left. But I can say that LeBron is nowhere near making his decision. And on top of that, he is willing to have a he's willing to have a minimum contract. Minimum contract, and the teams that he is down to now is the Cavaliers, Warriors, and possibly the Timberwolves. Now, Timberwolves is a team where they are on, I wouldn't necessarily say the outside looking in, because they just got LaMelo Ball a few days ago, but having LeBron in that fold, LeBron would only have to play, I would say, 15 minutes at the most, and he wouldn't have to exert as much effort on the offensive end like he has on the defensive end in previous years, but we all know that LeBron is just out there for scoring now. He's just out there for scoring. And on top of that, for the for the rest of the league in the NBA, I believe what LeBron is doing is great for the NBA. I do, because we all know that majority of players, they end up making their decision within 3 to 4 days. But LeBron, he's earned the right to take however long he needs to make his decision on what team he thinks he sees fit for him. And now, once we get to these other teams, like where do you all see the Wizards going with AJ DeBouncer? I think that the for the Wizards, if they get to the play-in tournament, that's a successful season there for them. It is a successful season. And for everybody else, once we get to basically the team, basically every team, well, majority of the league is still in play with the LeBron James sweepstakes. Sweepstakes. That's the only reason why people keep tuning in. And plus, on top of that, it's like Rui Hachimura. I said earlier that Rui Hachimura, he's going to the Clippers, but we all know that the Clippers, they are going to drop because Kawhi Leonard, he went back to Toronto. And I'm not going to say that all of the power is in the East when it comes to the NBA, because it's never been that way. Because I think when it comes to the NBA, there's always been 12 teams in the West that are good, and 5 or 6 teams in the East in the NBA that have been good. For people who are just coming in, please like, comment, share, please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on millions.co. Now, LeBron is the top factor in this free agency cycle. Free agency started last week on Wednesday, and we are pretty much, yeah, 6 days into free agency, and basically everybody is on LeBron watch right now. On LeBron watch, I was looking at some things over the weekend. Obviously, enjoyed July the 4th. Good, got some good food. Hung around family, friends. Talked to some of my business partners, and when I talked to some of my sources, and basically everybody's at a standstill with LeBron. But the but the story that I heard, and this turned out to be true, that if the Knicks did not win the championship, LeBron would have went to the Knicks. See? So back in 2010, everybody was saying that there was a chance that LeBron could go to the New York Knicks. It was a chance, and but ultimately he went with the Miami Heat. But now there's just so many teams where LeBron could fit his 15 to 20 minutes a game, because that's the only thing that LeBron needs now. He only needs to play 20 minutes a game. It's not like where he is going to go his usual, I would say, 35 to 40 minutes. No, he doesn't need to do that anymore. And on top of that, going over all of the time that he has played in the NBA, he has, I think he's played the second or third most minutes in the NBA, or possibly even the most if you add NBA Finals and long playoff runs.
Yeah, that was just
Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. Now, who do y'all think is going to win the World Cup?
no.
Let's talk about some World Cup.
I don't think they will do that. They
Who
should
is
do it fair
going to
because
win
they're
the
professionals
World
to pick
Cup?
it up
Because I
on
have the
whatever.
World Cup somewhere in
I'm just
here.
giving the benefit of the doubt.
World Cup.
I didn't even see that. I didn't even
The
know that.
round
Yeah,
of
no, definitely.
We are at the round of 16. We are at the round of 16 last night for the World Cup. Mexico, they lost. Sorry to everybody who was watching Mexico last night. It was a valiant effort, but at the end, you are not going to go any further. But today we got Portugal and Spain. And tonight at 8 o'clock, we have USA versus Belgium. Now, I think that USA is gonna win because I'm USA all day, USA all day, and the quarterfinals will start later on this week, Thursday, July 9th. Quarterfinals will start France and Morocco, and Friday they have a second quarterfinal, and those teams are to be determined. Those teams are to be determined, and I am going to the the World Cup odds because the World Cup odds they have been changing every every day for the last couple of days. Now, the odds for the World Cup, odds for every team to win the World Cup, according to FanDuel Sports, France has the best odds. Argentina has the second best. England has the third best, followed by Spain, Portugal, Norway, Colombia, Morocco, USA, Belgium, Switzerland, and Egypt. Those are the remaining teams that are playing right now. And I think that for the final it may be France and USA. France and USA. That's what I think. It's going to be France and USA for the final, and USA is going to win in the final. That's what I think. That's what I'm hoping for because that will be the first time ever in FIFA World Cup history that America has won a World Cup final because America has never won a World Cup final at all. At all. They've never won a World Cup final. How can the greatest country in America not win at football or soccer, as we all say over here in America? How can that happen? Now, what I'm going to give y'all some historical stats on who was the winner by year. Now, with the FIFA World Cup. Let's see. Let's see. So here here is every FIFA World Cup to right now, and where the teams have been. So Uruguay won the first World Cup back in 1930. The United States was in third place, 34 and 35. Well, excuse me. Yeah, Uruguay won 34 in 1934, and in 1938 Italy won. 1950 Uruguay won again. The reason why the World Cup did not go on in 1942 or 1946 was because of World War II. 5. West Germany. Germany, they won in 1954. Brazil won in 1958 and 1962. England won in 1966. Well, yes, 1966. 1977, Brazil won again. They were the champions. 1974, West Germany won again. 1978, Argentina won. 1986, excuse me, 1982, Italy won. 1986, Argentina won. 1990, West Germany won. Well, excuse me, Germany. 1994, the FIFA World Cup was held in where it's held at right now, the United States. Brazil won. 1998, France won. 2002, Brazil won. 2006, Italy won. 2010, Spain won. 2014, Germany won. 2018, France won. And 2022, Argentina won. You didn't hear me say anything about the USA winning a FIFA World Cup championship. That is what we need. That is what we need. We need a championship. We need a FIFA World Cup soccer championship here. We do. We do. It would make so much more money for FIFA. And we have FIFA coming back here in 2038. If you all have not been reading the news lately, sports news lately, 2038, the FIFA World Cup will be coming back here. Will be. So now we have got eight, possibly eight, nine teams that will be facing tonight. Look at the schedule. Let's see the schedule. And as of today, Portugal, Spain at 3, USA and Belgium tonight at 8, Argentina and Egypt tomorrow at 12, Switzerland and Colombia tomorrow at 4, France and Morocco Thursday, July 9th at 4 p.m. And then Saturday, this coming Saturday, Norway and England. And then after that, we have to wait until everything is to be determined. To be determined. So now let me get to some NFL stuff. Let's see. NFL, there are a lot that is going on in the NFL right now. NFL news and updates. Let's say Rasul Douglas joins Washington Commanders on a 1-year contract. NFL news. Let's say we have some more news when it comes to the NFL. Let's see. NFL news when it comes to the NFL. NFL, let's see. So, Browns quarterback rumors continue. Speculation continues around rookie. Well, he's not really a rookie now. Speculation continues around quarterback Shedeur Sanders with discussion centered on his developed and long-term role heading into Cleveland training camp. Now, one thing that I can say is that Cleveland, they are going to try their best to keep Shedeur because if everything goes astray with Deshaun Watson again, the Browns have a fallback plan. Browns have a fallback plan, and they are gonna have to keep their ducks in the row, keep their ducks in a row. Because once we get to a place where it seems like nothing, and I do mean nothing, is going to nothing is going to mean much. everything is just going to be at the point where at the point where possibly you have all of these teams right here that are in flux. Actually, I kind of like this background. Does anybody like this football background right here? Cause I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm pretty sure y'all see the Dallas Cowboys right here. You got the Chiefs, you got the Raiders, you got the Jaguars, Colts, you got the Patriots right here, you got the Jets over here, Steelers, you got Dolphins, Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens. Somebody earlier was talking about Lamar Jackson. Let's see what Lamar Jackson can do. Can he pull his team through? And I am going to also, I know the Buffalo Bills are in here somewhere. Buffalo Bills are like right there. I could see right there. And here's the Browns and Jaguars, Raiders, Eagles, Washington Commanders, Minnesota Vikings, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers right there. Yeah, so basically, Aaron Rodgers is coming back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We already knew that. And when it comes to the Tennessee Titans, okay, Tennessee Titans are somewhere. Tennessee Titans are right here. So for the Tennessee Titans, Robert Saleh is coach. Let's see what the Tennessee Titans can do. Can the Tennessee Titans some way, somehow shock everybody and become a playoff team from what they were just a year ago? Who knows? But as I can see is we have a couple of weeks before training camp comes. Only thing I can say is realistically there are about 8 teams that have a chance at making the Super Bowl. And I am going to give you all the odds right now. Super Bowl odds, Super Bowl 61 odds. Super Bowl 61 odds. And I'm pretty sure that this team right here, they are going to be near the top. Near the top. And for the odds for the Super Bowl, they have the Rams. According to FanDuel Sportsbook, Rams, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Chargers, I got them ninth on my list of making the Super Bowl. So, Kansas City Chiefs, 49ers, Detroit Lions, I don't think so about the Detroit Lions. I don't know about them anymore. Philadelphia Eagles, Houston Texans, maybe. Cincinnati Bengals, they have the ninth best odds. Broncos, Green Bay Packers. Look at my Dallas Cowboys right here. Dallas Cowboys. We are going to try and get back to the Super Bowl. We are going to try. And I'm telling you all, I am not just a Cowboys fan just to be saying it. I have my Cowboys mask right here. Look at it. I got my Cowboys mask, and we are all ready for this season. Can Dak lead us to the promised land? We are praying that Dak can lead us to the promised land. Okay, now back to what I was saying. 11th best odds, Chicago Bears. 12th best odds, Jacksonville Jaguars. And then, it goes on down the line, and it pretty much says, well, Arizona is at the bottom. Arizona's at the bottom, but in 3 weeks, I have a NFL segment that I always do, America, and you all are welcome to join. It is NFL teams with plenty to prove. do this before every season. This season, NFL teams with plenty to prove. In 2026, there are about, I would say, 12 or 14 teams that I have on the list. Almost half of the league is on the list. Starting off with, now, I was debating on this first team that I should put on the list, but I got the Chiefs on the list as far as with plenty to prove for this coming season. Now, I already know that the Chiefs, I'm not overly concerned about them, but as far as defensively, they got to do better. So this is just a preview of what I'm going to be saying at the end of the month in my football segment. Detroit Lions, another team that I just got through talking about. Also, they are on this list because they have plenty to prove. Because it seems like after the NFC Championship game 3 years ago, everything has went on a downward spiral. And before I go any further, please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Billions.co. We will also be having more and more star athletes come on the show this season, and it will be more and more guests coming on the show. So this is for, let's say, July. I'm going to say, so July 30th, mark your calendars for July 30th because I will be doing my yearly segment, NFL teams with plenty to prove in 2026. I'm going to go down the list, and these are all the teams that I will be talking about. Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, Las Vegas Raiders, Buffalo Bills, San Francisco 49ers, Cincinnati Bengals, my Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Minnesota Vikings, New York Jets, New England Patriots, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Los Angeles Chargers. That is going to be I don't know how long that segment is going to be, but it is going to be a good segment. It's going to be a good segment. And thank you to everybody who is watching. Thank you to the 3 people that are watching right now, and to all and for all of the likes. So now, what questions or comments does anybody have when it comes to any team? Give me a question or concern, and I will answer it. I will answer it in the order that it was given. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. NFL. Yeah, we got to talk about the NFL more. NFL is on its way, and one thing about, I'm going to say this about when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm going to say this in my segment later on this month. What is J.J. McCarthy going to do this season for the Minnesota Vikings? Because it seems like that we've been in this 2 or 3 year cycle where it's like, is J.J. McCarthy going to take that next step this year, or we're possibly going to water the playbook down so that we can see how he is able to generate through a pro style offense? Because, like I said, when he was at Michigan in that showcase game versus Penn State, he only threw the ball 8 times, and the Michigan Wolverines, they ran it 45 times. So we don't really know how good of a passer J.J. McCarthy is. I always say, when it comes to the the NFL right here. When it comes to valuing a player, you have to evaluate that player on how good his offense is. And see that this is where I say you have a quarterback that can just do it all. If you have a quarterback that he knows that he has a bad running game and it's a third or fourth down and he needs to get the yardage to keep the game going or the season going, he is just going to take off and run. He's like bump the running game. He's like the running game haven't been doing nothing for us all game, so I'm just gonna take it and go score. And that's exactly how some of these quarterbacks they have to do. That's exactly how some of them they have to be. Because when you see some quarterbacks, they don't believe in well I can say they hardly don't believe in their run game in big moments. They don't. They don't believe it. Because a running back in today's time, if they don't get 4+ yards a carry, it's considered bad. It is. And with the way that the NFL is played now, if you're not getting 4 yards per carry, then either you're a slow running back or you're getting old. Because it takes 5 to 7 seconds to develop a play. A run play, it only takes about, I would say, 4 to 6. But in those 4 to 6 seconds, the running back, he's going to get at least 3 to 4 yards in that 4 to 6 seconds. Because it's going to take a while for the defense to obviously obviously think about who has the ball. And if you have multiple running backs in the backfield, mm-mm-mm. That is going to mess with the defense a lot. And if you have 3 running backs in the backfield, the defense, they don't know who is going to get the ball. So it's like everybody on the defense, they are skeptical. They are skeptical of what all is going to transpire. Now, one thing I can say is when it comes to the Jaguars, I seen somebody on TikTok, they were saying that the Jaguars could have a record of 6-11. And I don't know what podcast it is or who the guy is, but obviously I think that's just rage bait because I've been looking at the Jaguar schedule, and in the first 5 weeks I could see the Jaguars winning. Worst case scenario, they only win 2 games. And in the best case scenario in the first 5 weeks, Jaguars go 4-1. The only game that I have the Jaguars losing in that 5 week period is either Denver or Cincinnati. Because we all know with Denver going to Denver and playing up in that altitude and winning is one thing. In Cincinnati, we already know that the Jaguars went to Cincinnati last year, and if it wasn't for a call here and there, Jaguars would have probably won in Cincinnati. If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. But as of right now, obviously we have like a good 2 months before the regular season starts. So it's getting to that point where it's gonna be all about this NFL content right here. And I am for it. And technically, I have been on vacation for I would say the last week and a half, and I have another 2.5 weeks until July the 30th when I start talking about NFL teams with plenty to prove. This is going to be the very first segment of the NFL season. If you all can see it, if you all can see it right there, bring it a little closer probably. And as you all can see, the teams that are on the list that I will be talking about, here is the other pad that I will be talking about. You see Minnesota Vikings, New York, New England Patriots, Los Angeles Chargers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are the teams that I will be talking about that will have a make or break season. And also, let me not forget, I know that there are a lot of you that are pretty much looking at some of these head coaches coming into this season and saying, are these coaches going to get fired? Well, here is who I have on the list who is going to get fired. Take a look at it. Oh, let me back up. Take a look at it and see. Yep, these are going to get fired. And the one that is at the top of the list, Todd Bowles, he should have already been fired. I don't know why the Bucks are keeping him there, but they are. They are keeping him there. They are keeping him there for a reason, and this will be the last season for Todd Bowles. Zach Taylor, also on the chopping block. With the Cincinnati Bengals, this team right here, Zach Taylor's on the chopping block. Also, Aaron Glenn, New York Jets. Even though he played, even though he coached one season, it seems like the players and I would say the organization, they're not as confident as in him as when he first got the job, especially after going through an entire season where the New York Jets defense did not generate a interception or a turnover all season, a fumble or a tip pass or something. The Jets couldn't even do that for the entirety of last season. So, pretty much, let's just see what the NFL 2026 NFL season has in store with us. The preseason will start exactly 1 month from today, and the Hall of Fame game will consist of NFL Hall of Fame. NFL Hall of Fame game 2026 will consist of the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers on August 6th. So, with that, those are my reactions to NBA trades, FIFA World Cup, Jalen Brunson situation, when it comes to Kevin Durant possibly going to the Detroit Pistons, and NFL scenarios. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. And this is Keytime signing off.